Hi, I'm Brett Larkin. I post new yoga videos to YouTube every single week, and I'm now posting yoga classes for total yoga beginners every Tuesday. So if you're new to yoga or interested in learning, make sure to like and hit subscribe. So the first thing I like to tell newbies when they're doing child's pose is that they might want to pad their knees. So Murray, I'm just going to show you what child's pose is, just so you know. So it's funny because people say, oh, well, child's pose is the resting pose in yoga. But the reality is for a lot of beginners, especially men, this pose is challenging. So then people can feel bad about themselves because
they can't do the basic.
They can't even do the child's pose, which is supposed to be the easy one. So if you're new, and especially, men have big knees and maybe sensitive knees, especially also if you're older, pad the knees with a blanket, right? We just pulled this from Murray's couch. And then child's pose, you just fold forward. Now the knees can be apart or the knees can be touching. And for a lot of people, it's hard to get the seat to the heels. So Murray, you want to pass me one of the blocks I brought?
Okay.
So you can put a yoga block right underneath your seat. And if you don't have a yoga block, book or even a big couch cushion will do. And I'll use a couch cushion on Murray so you can see what it looks like. And then you just fold the body forward. And your forehead's supposed to touch the ground. But again, for a lot of people I work with, and especially men, it doesn't. So another block. We can bring the floor to you by using a block. The big takeaway here is that these props are not just for beginners. I use props myself every single day in my practice. I love using yoga blocks, blankets, and cushions all the time. So even yoga teachers are embracing props. It's about enhancing your practice. So don't think of it as like a crutch if you're using them. So why don't you come into it now? Come into the child's pose. So have your knees on the blanket so they're nice and comfortable. And let's see if you're able to sit on your heels.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So we're going to give him the cushion. Is that a little bit better? Let me put the block maybe too. So the block, you want to have it the wide way between your heels, and it can be on this height or this height, right? But it's the wide way. So we'll put it here. Okay. Now, does this feel like a lot of pressure on your knees?
I'm still not sitting on the block.
Okay, hold on. We'll put two.
This
is real life. This is real life. Okay, sit back.
Now I'm kind of sitting on the blocks.
Okay. And how does this feel? Does it feel good or does it feel yuck?
I couldn't sit like this for too long.
What if you bring your knees to touch? Does it feel better or worse?
It's about the same. There's still a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure.
On the knees.
Yeah. So child's pose is going to be challenging for you.
Right.
Try folding forward.
So then that's much more comfortable.
Now it's more comfortable. Okay. So let your head relax. So the pressure on the knees released somewhat once you folded forward, it sounds like.
Yes. And knees further apart,
helps
head down
you.
helps, yes.
Okay. And is this doing anything for you back here?
No.
Really.
No, not really.
So let's move some of the blocks. I think the cushion's helping you a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And we'll put this block here. Okay. How does this feel now?
That's much more comfortable, yeah.
Okay. So at home, right, it's like yoga, it's not this one size fits all thing. You need to experiment at home to find how these postures are going to work in your body, especially if you've never done yoga before, especially if you don't have a lot of range of motion or flexibility. So you can try, just like I tried with Murray, we tried propping up his seat. Then when he folded forward, he didn't actually need the prop so much. But this cushion is still providing some nice comfort, I think, for the space between his hips and his heels. Now, the next thing that I see people do, kind of a common misalignment type thing, is that they tend, and Murray's not doing this a lot, but his shoulders are sort of tense and engaged. If you look here, like his traps, I can feel his muscles are working because he's kind of reaching in his child's pose. But yoga is not about getting anywhere. It's about being in the present moment. So what we can tell him to do is, Murray, will you bring your middle fingers to touch and your elbows wide? So it's like you're going to make a diamond shape. Yeah, there you go. There you go. And that's going to soften his shoulders. Do your shoulders feel
I feel
relaxed?
much happier now, yeah.
Yeah, so this feels more relaxed.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so you want to try it again to show them at home. Like reach your arms forward, tense tension here.
Yeah.
Yuck. We don't want that. Much softer.
Yes,
Yay.
this is much more comfortable.
Good. And then if we took the block away, right, you're okay. But what I like about the block for him is it keeps his neck in line with the rest of his spine instead of it being like a sharp fold there. And then as his teacher, I'll just give him a little bit of an adjustment. This is what I call a feel-good adjust, meaning he's not doing anything wrong. I'm just massaging his low back, basically. This is the joy of getting a yoga private, right? Is that you get a teacher to do some stuff that, just feels good. Doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. That's another thing I like to share with yoga beginners is if you go to a class and the teacher touches you, sometimes it just might be because they're trying to give you what's called this feel-good adjustment. They're just trying to kind of give you a nice little massage. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. Great. So Murray, take a couple deep breaths in and out through the nose here just before you come out of it. So we always want to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, slowing down the breath, trying to make those inhales and exhales equal length. So if you're doing this at home now with us, just try this. So Murray, just inhale for a count of 3 through the nose. Exhale for a count of 3 through the nose. Let's do once more. Inhale for a count of 3. Think of sending your breath into your back body, into your low back. Exhale, slow count of 3. And I want to do one more just for good measure. Slow 3 counts to breathe in. Really count it at home. 1, 2, 3. Breathing out. 3, 2, 1. So it's finding that slow equanimity of the breath that makes it yoga as opposed to just making weird shapes on the floor. Okay, now to come out of this pose, because remember, as a teacher, and I teach this in my yoga teacher training, that most injuries actually happen coming in and out of poses. So it's in those transitions that we want to be really cautious, both as teachers and with our students. So to come out of this, Murray, I want you to put your pressure back into your hands. So take your hands underneath your shoulders and gently press yourself up. Yeah. And then you can bring your knees to touch. You can slide off to one side. So maybe slide your butt to the right. Yep. And you're back in a seated position. And most likely we'll go into our next pose. But how did that feel for you because you were doing child's pose at home alone to my videos.
Yes.
And now we just did it together. So
it's good to understand having the blanket underneath makes a huge difference. Understanding that I can move my legs further apart and having the block at the front to align my spine and my neck. So I understand the pose. Also, I was trying to stretch, which is obviously making it really hard, but knowing that I can bring my fingers together and support myself, just knowing that it's okay to do that rather than I'm doing something wrong is something that that changes that for me. So
Good.
Thank you.
All right, great work. We'll see you in the next video. Hey, if you like this video, you are going to love my free Pure Beginner Master the Basics yoga class. Not only do I cover the top 10 yoga poses you're most likely to encounter as a beginner, but I give you a downloadable cheat sheet showing you exactly how to do each of these moves so you know you're doing them correctly. Let's banish the fear and confusion of doing it wrong. Let's master the basics together. Go to BrettLarkin.com/beginner for your free download, and I'll see you on the mat. Namaste.